What's up everyone and welcome back to Reload Reacts episode 68. My name's Trey and today we are going to look through r/EntitledPeople, the subreddit for those who are kind of insane and think the world revolves around them. You know, the ones where they think the rules don't apply to them and they can get whatever they want. Those types of people. This first post is by Vizants, entitled Client learns that professionals can in fact walk away. I work as an engineer. I do some consulting on the side, but typically only for people I know and as a favour. A good friend asked me to help his in-laws who were doing some fairly massive renovations/additions. I agreed solely because he asked me to. This is not something I have any interest or need in doing except as a favour. It's an old house and had can of worms written all over it with some of the changes they wanted to do. Now he warned me that the mother-in-law can be unpleasant, but that was an understatement. She seemed to think that because I was being paid, I'd charge probably what 1/10 of a business would, that she could snap her fingers at me like a servant. I had a few unpleasant emails with her, but it was tolerable. She was rude when I was pointing out issues with their plans, but nothing too extreme. That changed when I started trying to find a time for me to stop by and inspect a few areas of the house to verify some information. I offered times to stop by on the weekend, but that didn't work for her. Tried evening times. Still a no. Nope. She wanted me to stop by during my office work hours because that was best for her. When I told her no, this gets done on the weekends or in the evening, she went from rude to incredibly hostile, telling me that she is paying me, lol, and that I work with her availability, not the other way around. CC'd my friend in on the chain, told them I was out and to have fun working with whoever they get. Friend apologised, I said no worries, not my problem anymore. She emailed back quite stunned that I was walking away, telling me that it's not how business is conducted. I didn't bother responding. About 3 weeks later, I get an email from the husband now asking me if I would reconsider, and he promises that his wife won't speak to me or be involved in any way. I hear from my friend that while the quotes came back much higher, which was tolerable for them, but it was how long the wait was. They just bought this house and wanted to move in ASAP, but it's an incredibly busy time of year for the industry. Turns out, when companies you reach out to are drowning in work, and you have a potentially convoluted and messy project, they aren't chomping at the bite to get your business. So now they are going to lose the trades they lined up because design would be a month or two out. I passed on the request as a struggle, I believe. I passed on the request as I struggled to believe she would be kept in check and had no desire to bail her out. My friend didn't care, said it was nice watching her attitude give her consequences that actually affect her. I'm glad that you were able to give her consequences for her behaviour. Not many stories could do that. This next post is by Swimming Nate. My cousin asked if she could use my wedding venue on my wedding day. We're a few weeks out from the wedding, everything's booked, invites are sent, my cousin texts me, "Hey, any chance I could use your venue earlier that day for my ceremony? We'll be out before your stuff starts." I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. Her logic? It's already decorated, and it's not like we'll stay for the reception. When I said no, obvious, she called me selfish and now my aunt is just heartbroken that I'm not willing to share. Apparently my wedding is now dividing the family. Next time, I'll just send out a Google Calendar invite titled "Do Not Disturb, Life Event Happening." Yeah, I don't think I'd invite those people. Considering in the comments, the OP says, "Honestly wouldn't be shocked if she tried to Venmo me like $20 and called it even." It kind of speaks to the character that that person truly is. This next post is by Annual Strength 751. She demanded I let her kid blow out my birthday candles. I was having a small birthday dinner with friends at a restaurant, and when the cake arrived with lit candles, everyone started singing. Out of nowhere, a mum from a near table walks over with their toddler and says, "Let him blow out the candles, he loves doing that." I thought she was joking, but she was dead serious. I was caught off guard by my friend, stepped in and said, "It's her birthday." The mum actually scoffed and said, "So? He's just a kid, don't be rude." I blew out my own candles and she walked away muttering like I ruined her evening. Sorry, but your kid is not entitled to hijack someone else's celebration. As the top comment reads, "Lady, he's just a kid, but you're an adult and you should know better, so what's your excuse?" That reminds me of a Steven Universe clip. This next post is by Spit Change. Entitled Neighbor demands I stop using my own Wi-Fi because it's distracting her plants. Yes, you heard that correctly. I live in a townhouse complex with paper-thin walls and a whole bunch of colourful personalities. One of them is my neighbour, a woman in her late 50s who wears tie-dye every day, insists she has a telepathic connection with crystals, and once told me my aura was too digital. I'm usually sitting out front on my phone with my computer relaxing. I suppose that's why she feels I'm too digital? But her latest stunt truly took the cake. Last week she knocked on my door holding a small potted plant in one hand and a printout of what looked like a hand-drawn diagram of a Wi-Fi signal in the other. She told me we needed to talk about my router. I was confused. She then explained that my Wi-Fi was disrupting the vibrational energy of her succulents. She pointed to the drawing, which honestly looked like a sad jellyfish, and said the signals beamed directly through our shared wall and bombarded her plants non-stop. According to her, the plants were spiritually wilting because they thought the Wi-Fi was sunlight, but it wasn't. The best parts? Her plants were in a dark hallway with no natural light. She claimed they had been fine until I got a new modem and then gave me two options. Either turn off my Wi-Fi every night between 10 PM and 6 AM, apparently the plant rest hours, or let her share my Wi-Fi and move the router into her unit so she could regulate the signal properly. I laughed because I thought she was joking. She wasn't. She stormed off as I was laughing at her. I'm still currently waiting to see what comes out of this. And unfortunately, no feedback from OP since. So maybe nothing came out of it, but I think it's really funny to consider that maybe OP ended up sharing the router with the interesting person. This next post is by Best Chris Pear. Oh, my rich friends? We can't be friends anymore. So tonight, an acquaintance I haven't spoken to in at least 5 years called me. Marcus, I'll call him. Marcus did make a little chit chat. Then they ask me what I'm doing for work, and I say I'm between full-time stuff right now. But looking, they agree that the job market is hard and how they are divesting themselves of a business that they've had for decades as the suckers aren't buying anything anymore. I give a little laugh because that's a weird way to refer to clients, but maybe Marcus is a little down. They then mention about their home in New England and their home in the West Coast in a highly desirable area on the beach, that they want to split the entire summer between the two locations because it's so hot in the south in the summer. I say something along the lines of, "That's a heck of a problem to have," and we laugh again. That's when they drop their entitled request on me. They want someone to care for their extremely obese, nearly bedbound elderly auntie that lives with them, 7 days a week, no days off for 3 months. The best part? This home is not air conditioned. They want to offer a fellow human $200 per week since it's light duty, but they'd say I'd have my own room. I own a home, so that isn't of interest to me. I explained that I was going to have to pass on this amazing offer, and Marcus got really insulted. He whined and said they didn't know anyone as nice as me, and since I was a flight attendant before this, I know the first aid and serving food stuff. Again, I declined and he was confused. I said, "Would you work for $200 a week? Because I won't." He said he would call in a week to see if I changed my mind. Blocked him as soon as the call ended. Well, that was red flags written all over it. Anyway, this next post is by Professional Tap 103. She told me I ruined her weekend because I wouldn't let her borrow my apartment while I was still living in it. She's a friend of a friend, we've hung out maybe twice. Out of nowhere, she texts me asking if she can borrow my apartment for the weekend. I thought she meant crash for a night. Nope. She wanted me to leave so she and her boyfriend could have a cute little staycation. In my 400 square foot apartment that I still live in, I told her that wouldn't work, obviously. Her response: "Wow, really? You just ruined my weekend." Didn't say thanks, didn't even pretend to understand how insane that was. Next time, I'll offer her the laundry room. It's cozy if you curl up right next to the dryer. That left me speechless. I genuinely don't know what to say about that one. The next post is by Mr. Coco1234. Entitled Hellspawn wants my Coke and his mother decided that ordering me to hand it over was a great idea. English is not my first language. So I just flew back from Dubai and I had the unfortunate luck of sitting next to an entitled mother and her ruly child. I was cursing myself because I have had terrible experiences with children in my aisles on flights, so I was already not in a great mood. The flight started out pretty smooth, but things quickly took a turn. This kid, who must have been around 5 or 6, was running up and down the aisle throwing toys and making a mess. Never seen that on a flight before. The flight attendants were doing their best to manage, but the mother was just sitting there scrolling through her phone like nothing was happening or just telling people to ignore him because he's just a kid. What? About halfway through the flight, I ordered a Coke. As soon as it arrived, the kid zeroed in on it. He started whining and pointing at my drink, making a scene. Before I knew it, the mother was giving me these dirty looks like I was some kind of demon for not sharing my Coke with their prince. She leaned over and, in a tone that dripped with arrogance, said, "He really wants your drink. Just give it to him." I was stunned. I mean, it's free, so just ask the attendant and get one for yourself? When I declined and suggested she ask the flight attendant for another one, she huffed and rolled her eyes, muttering something under her breath. I'm a petty guy, so I took my sweet time in having the drink, while loudly playing music on my headphones. Despite her, I ordered another Coke, but this time her kid tried swiping the drink from the attendant's hand. The attendant scolded the mother in a quiet and stern tone to bring her kid under control, after which the mother huffed and puffed like an out-of-shape marathon runner. For the rest of the flight, she kept glaring at me like I had snitched on her to a principal, while her kid continued causing problems. It's amazing how some parents think the world revolves around them and their poorly behaved children. Why have kids when you can't be asked to parent them properly? That is what this subreddit's all about after all. And with that being said, I think that's going to be it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stories in r/EntitledPeople. Sorry that was a bit of a short one. Let me know what you'd like to listen to next in the comment section below, and also hit that subscribe button because I post new Reddit content every single day. There are 2 videos on the screen right now, one of which is for the most recent video and another is for a video the YouTube algorithm thinks you'll want to watch next. My name is Trey, this was Reload Reacts, and I will see you in the next video.